All right. And we are live. Hello and good afternoon, evening. It's not, I mean, it's probably not morning anywhere on this side of the globe, but thanks so much for being here and joining me for another VPSA chat, another VPSA chat live. I'm JP Davis. I am your National Vice President for Student Affairs, and I'm excited to be back with you all for today's chat. If you're new here, if you need a refresher, VPSA chats are just a monthly opportunity to have conversations around a central topic or theme that I want to share with you guys. And it's my goal to have conversations with active students and with experts in the area that we're discussing. Tonight, we're having a chat about recruitment, and I know it's only October, but I wanted to talk about this subject as chapters are planning for their spring recruitment, or maybe they're analyzing how their recruitment went in the fall. Like, how can we improve this? How can we make it better? And so, some questions I'm thinking, I'm like, how can we strengthen our brotherhood by reaching out to outstanding band members? What is our mindset about recruitment? How does our mindset relate to our chapter, to our purposes? How does all that align? And yeah, so tonight I am joined by three brothers from the Theta Beta chapter at Boston University, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, uh, and then we'll get going.
Hi, I'm Palmer. I use they, them pronouns. I'm the president of Theta Beta, and uh, I play trumpet. I do big band, marching band, pep band. So a lot of good stuff.
Hi. Oh, you can go, Ronnie.
Go.
You can go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ronnie. I currently serve as the Vice President for Membership at Theta Beta. I'm a junior right now, and I play flute in our pep band.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I am the current Vice President of Service at Theta Beta at Boston University. I play the mellophone in both the marching band and the pet band.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm really excited to chat with you guys. And the reason I reached out to you guys specifically is because I was thinking about the presentation that our Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees and past National President Jessica Lee has done on recruitment. It's titled "Honoring Outstanding Band Members: A Foundation for Chapter Recruitment and Membership Selection." And I heard that you guys, Palmer specifically, had attended this workshop, and after seeing the workshop done, and he, like, knowing Jess, I've known Jess for a while. I look young, I feel old, um, but uh, like, I know that what she says is fantastic, and I really value her opinions and mindset as it comes to recruitment and who we are selecting to be members. And so I heard you attended, and I want to talk with you guys about kind of your thoughts about recruitment, about what your recruitment process looks like, how you talk with your chapter about it. Um, yeah, so I just want to jump into it. So my first question is, how does your chapter view recruitment?
So we take like a different approach to how we recruit. Like the first half of our recruitment season, which we're currently in right now, we sort of focus on like the passive side of things. We don't really like try to advertise it as a recruitment event because we want to emphasize that the social aspect of the band and just like create a welcoming environment within the band instead of like being like, oh, here we are the brothers, blah blah blah. Instead, yeah, just like not trying to be straight like that.
Yeah, not trying to like hit him over the head with like Kappa Kappa Psi, Kappa Kappa Psi, but like, hey, we're people, we're cool, and like, let's just chill, hang, have a good time. I love that. So, what does like your current recruitment process look like?
So for us, we recruit exclusively in the fall and we do our MEP exclusively in the spring. So what that means is we spread our recruitment events throughout the entirety of the fall semester, with our first ones being in like early to mid September and our last ones being in early November, giving us enough time to do our bids process and then giving our potential new members enough time to either accept or reject their bids. Um, so we do 8 recruitment events over the course of the semester, and we do all sorts of things. So we do both, like, info sessions, we do on-campus events, and we also do off-campus events.
Awesome. Can I ask like what those events are? I'm curious.
Yeah, so we do 3 info sessions. 2 of them are joint with our sister chapter at Boston University, Eta Gamma. Um, we do in Boston, there's like this vintage market that we go to. It's called SOA. It's really cool. Um, we do a basically a glorified Halloween party. Um, we do what else? We have like a game night that we host, and then we also do what else? I know I'm forgetting at least. Oh, we have band service day, which essentially is where we do service for the band, and then we invite P&Ms to come and interact with us and hang with us. Am I forgetting any? I feel like I'm forgetting one.
Smoker.
Okay, of course I
And
forgot our
then
most important one. That's the one where we do interviews and where like we really get to know our P&Ms on that level.
That is very
and then
cool.
disclaimer, there is no smoking at the event. It's meant to be like barbecue potluck type
Right.
thing. So the name is one we have out of tradition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm from South Carolina, from the South. I definitely like, oh, smoker. Yeah, we're gonna go eat some barbecue and have some food. I know exactly that. So, do you guys make like the food for them and everything?
Yeah, it's a potluck.
Oh, I
And we
love that.
invite our alumni to come too. So it's like alumni and active brothers make food, and then our PNMs come. And sometimes they bring food too. Most of the time they don't, but it's
Well,
whatever. It's fun.
that is awesome. What's your favorite thing to have at this smoker, or favorite thing that
Depends on
somebody
what
brings? You know?
it depends on what the alumni bring. But like a lot of them go like all out for it because like they love cooking and they love like bringing stuff for it. Trying to think like last year, someone made like a really good pasta dish. I want to say, was it Christine or Vivek? I don't remember. One of the brothers made like this really good pasta dish that I thought was awesome.
Not to brag, but my like I make like a candied mashed sweet potatoes every year,
Mm,
and I'm like, I love sweet potatoes.
I love that. Ronnie, you got any favorite foods at your smoker?
I'm like very picky with my food, so I prefer when people like bring in the catering type food. So I'm pretty sure like last year somebody brought Raising Canes and I was
Ooh,
like, ah, thank you.
you can never go wrong with canes. That is awesome. I love it. Um, so getting back to our questions, and not just about food. Um, Jessica's workshop, honoring outstanding band members, as I've said, is great. I can sing its praises all the time. I think it's got some really great messages about being aligned with your chapter, about like what you're looking for, about really thinking like defining what does outstanding, what does bid worthy mean, and like she challenges us to be like really think what is it that matters to us? Does it matter that somebody's like interested in Kappa Kappa Psi? Does it matter that somebody's like just our friend? Does it matter if they like are doing service beforehand, or like what is it? So I'm curious, like, has her workshop or any of like the messages or themes like influence you guys' recruitment process?
Yeah, so I can speak on this a little bit more. I attended Jessica Lee's workshop last year. Fantastic workshop, by the way. And then I was serving as vice president of membership. So one of like the big takeaways that I had was really we kind of a need to document like what these outstanding band members like actually like look like per se, because a lot of our bids discussions, it's like it was all like our bids process was very like passed down orally, but there was no like here is like a set document like detailing like these are the qualities we look for and how we can spot them in P&Ms. So what we ended up making was like a bids meeting guidelines document. So during recruitment and also through the bids deliberation process, we look for like qualities demonstrated by P&Ms as well as like the potential to grow into these qualities. And all these are tied to like our pillars, so like service, leadership, musicianship, brotherhood, like our ritualistic values, and then our fraternal code of conduct. For example, with like we also like outlined how exactly you can like spot them in a way. For example, with service, it was we would know like questions like do does this PNM jump on volunteering opportunities being like whenever anyone needs help. Have they asked how they can help, even though it's like smaller, like, oh, can I pick this up for you? Or, hey, can I help our pit like push off the field? So just noting these smaller like these qualities throughout the recruitment season, and then also being able to bring them up during our discussion during bids deliberations was it's been immensely helpful to our chapter in going through this process.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Like having a document where it's this is what we are agreeing on that like is important to us. Um, I I I think more chapters should have that. That's not something I thought about when I was an active member, but something that looking back, I think would be extremely helpful and make conversations, I think, easier to have. Now, that document, is it sort of like a living document? Do you guys revisit it every year? Well, I guess it's probably only been like a year or so since it's been around, but are there plans to revisit it? Or is like that's it?
Um, I think it is a bit more of a living document as we have other documents that we also use throughout the recruitment period. But that is like one of our main ones that everything is like linked to. So it kind of lives throughout all of recruitment. But Ronnie can speak to more on that.
Like, so I'm like working closely with our sponsor, trying to sort of change the way we do bids and like all of our procedures for membership, just because I want it to reflect our purposes more better, just because right now it's like we do observe things in PNMs, but we always like set like high expectations and trying to like make it so that we also know any potential growth in the whatever purposes, and not just only noting whatever they're doing well already.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly important to you know, view people and as a whole person. Like this is where you are now, and these are things that we like about you, we love about you now, and here are some places that we can also see improvement. I like to think on some level when you're handing out a bid to someone, you're saying like I view you as somebody who like right now could be a brother. Like there are qualities that you possess, um, and as we're doing this, we're going to continue to reach this excellence, to strive for the highest, and just keep being better every single day that we're here together. I think it's very cool that you're looking at making sure that your recruitment process and your bid process reflects that. And thanks for your honesty about that too. Um, so with this document, I'm also like, it makes sense that our chapter can be aligned on what we're looking for with potential new members. But how do you ensure that they are like clearly aligned on that?
So, like another thing that we do is before the start of our marching band season, which our marching band season starts with band camp, brothers get to Boston, which is where our university is, obviously, it's Boston University, a couple of days earlier, and we do something called retreat, which essentially it's like basically a whole bunch of workshops where we focus on like here's how we can prepare for the upcoming semester. So we do a lot of service stuff. We also do a lot of membership stuff, and then also some like other necessary workshops like parliamentary procedure, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the workshops that we do during retreat is a recruitment workshop, um, where essentially we go over like the here's how to recruit, here's what we're looking for, et cetera, et cetera. And then we don't just stop there, we follow up with more workshops throughout the semester. I think we've had a total of 3 recruitment workshops this semester. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow. Very cool. So what does a recruitment workshop look like?
Well, some of it is like I said, it's going over what it is that we're looking for in P&M. So it's going over our pillars. It's reviewing, what makes an outstanding band member. Some of it is practicing like just talking to people because apparently we're all awkward and we need to learn how to do that.
We're band kids.
Um, literally, literally. Some of it is just, going over just recruitment in general, like what it is, what are the expectations at our recruitment events? What are the expectations when you interact with people, et cetera, et cetera. I think Ronnie mentioned this earlier, but in our chapter we have 2 types of recruitment, passive and active, going over what the difference between those are. How can you play to your own strengths, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I love that. I think, especially if we think about last biennium with President Coe's like Strive for Five initiative, the recruit 5 more members than you did the year before. I love that you guys are talking about what is active recruitment, what is passive recruitment. Because a thing that was definitely seen was that there were chapters who were sort of in that passive recruitment for everything that they did. Like, hey, come to me and then you can be recruited. Like, you must come over to where I am. I'm not going to you. But the active part of the recruitment is so important of going out there and interacting. Like you said, like learning how to talk to people. We don't do that a lot is practice talking to people, but it's so important because those relationships will make the fraternity happen. A thing in Jessica's presentation that I'm remembering now is she says that people join Kappa Kappa Psi for people. And that's absolutely true. If we're going to have a great chapter, if we're going to have a great organization, we have to be role models and be people that people want to be around. Because if we're not, then they're not going to join, which is fair. Um, so thinking of like the active recruitment stuff that you guys do, what does your chapter do to make recruitment like intentional and active and reflective of Kappa Kappa Psi's purposes?
So, in regards to like active recruitment, we're just very intentional with like our invites. We have kind of like an invite spreadsheet. To make sure we're actually like reaching out to new people and we're making sure we're reaching out to sections that we might not have members in already. We kind of split everything up and everyone is like, okay, I'm going to invite 2 people to this event. And then everyone puts like their name down, who they're inviting, and then all they do is like confirm when they've done it. So it's super low key, but it's worked really well for our chapter, and like it gets us to actually hold ourselves accountable to these invites. Because a lot of time it's like I'm gonna invite someone, but then you can get cold feet right when you're supposed to, because it can be scary. But in regards to making the chapter like having like being welcoming and reflective of our purposes during recruitment, a lot of our recruitment events are actually tied to our pillars. So we have a band service day, which Lindsay has mentioned, but here P&Ms can get like a taste of like what service is like for the bands, and if they're interested, like typically it's like then there's like a gateway into helping out throughout the recruitment season if they so wish. Um, then we also have SOA, again, like what Lindsay mentioned, where it's like a little like open market type thing, but they also have live music there. So it's also like a go check out like the live bands, and that connects back to our musicianship. So it's a way to have our pillars like represented, but without it being like, here are our pillars. um, and it just keeps it very like fun and genuine. And ultimately, like what you were saying, like the welcoming part like comes along with it, where it's people become interested because of the people. So it's like we just these events, yes, they are like tied to our pillars, but it's like we keep them fun and we just be real with them.
Yeah. It is, if it's fun, people are gonna want to be there and be a part. And I really love like the subtle way that you guys are like sharing those pillars with them rather than just like, all right, today we're talking about music, and there's also going to be live music here, you know. Um, so I'm curious as well with you guys recruiting like all fall really with your recruitment events. Do you guys ever feel like kind of burnt out with that at all, or like, man, I wish we could just go ahead and like start process already, or like how does the chapter kind of feel over the semester with that?
I can speak on this a little more because I have the benefit of being part of two fraternities. So my other fraternity does recruitment over 2 weeks, whereas KK Psi, like our chapter, we take like the full semester. And personally, I much prefer like the full semester just because it's like the same number of events. They're just a little larger scale. And also like they're spread out. We are able to then like strike a good balance of like passive and active recruitment because it's like we see these people at rehearsals, we see these people at concerts. It's like we rely on like both parts of recruitment equally.
Yeah, it's like you guys are making friends first before you're giving out bids, which is very cool.
Yeah.
My chapter, the Zeta Guide chapter, we did and still do. We have a fall line and a spring line as well. And so we were a chapter that was like, all right, we're gonna do recruitment over like this week and a half, and then here are bids, and then we're going. And I'm also a member of two fraternities, so it was like, yeah, if I'm off in KKSI, we're recruiting at the same time, and I have to do all those events, and it can be taxing for sure. So that's very neat. I feel like I need to go out to one of these events sometimes, especially the smoker. I need to get some of that food over there. Um, so probably my last question for you guys, unless there's anything else on my brain, is what advice would you give to chapters that are preparing for their spring recruitment?
What we did this year is like sort of get on the same page as a chapter. So during my first workshop, during retreat, I sort of made the members of my chapter like list out their goals for like their personal goals for recruitment and their like what they want the to get out of the chapter overall, just because that way we can like sort of compare and see, oh, this is what we want as a chapter, and it sort of like also like helps out operations wise, like you're all getting on the same page, collaborating and whatnot, and like to continue on with that, like the other two workshops that I had, we've actually had our third one today. Today was like sort of realigning our purposes to make sure that we're still on the same page and that we get to the finish line, and just like seeing what else needs to be done so that we're not like lost in the sauce in recruitment.
Yeah,
And to quickly boost what Ronnie was saying, one other benefit of like the individual goal setting is kind of aligning with Jessica Lee's workshop, was you're able to leverage the different like strengths of each brother, um, because it's like the goals, the personal goals are it's like they're tailored for you because you're the one making them. Whereas like the chapter goal, it's like that keeps us all on task. Um, but yes, everything what Ronnie said, goaded.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize you guys had a workshop today. Thanks so much for doing that and also being here to talk more about it. Um, yeah, this has just been great. I feel like we could talk for hours about all the inner workings of Theta Beta and your recruitment stuff, but I do want to make sure I respect you guys' time and make sure you guys enjoy your Sunday. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Is there anything else on your brains at all that you want to just share with people about anything or recruitment?
I guess if we want to talk a bit about, I know at one point, like prior, or at least like prior to the call and like the prep work for things, you talked about sharing like examples of what our chapter does well, and like ways we've improved recently. We could dive
Yeah.
into that a little bit if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. I guess for us, one of the things that like we feel like we've been doing pretty like spot on lately with is kind of, I guess, creating moments of shared relevancy. And I guess what I mean by this is a lot of what makes our events successful is having them be like interactive. It's an activity that like anyone could partake in. So for this year, with SOA, it happened as a mistake, but one of our brothers was like, okay, we're actually going to the cop slide. Like the slide, there's a slide by Government Center, and there's this like video that went viral of a cop going down, like testing the slide. So Ronnie, huge props to this guy. He like at the last minute like deviated and was like, okay, we can like include the cop slide in our route because the PNMs, when they heard there was like the cop slide, they're like, oh my gosh. And like we're going crazy over it. I guess a ton of hype about it.
I want to
Um,
say turnout approximately doubled because we were going to the cop slide.
yes. But once we actually like got to the event, like what made it successful was everyone could be silly and like go down the slide or mess around with the slings. Like it was just having fun at a park. And it was very simple. And for those that didn't want to just clamber on like a play structure or whatever, like we had pizza for them as well. So it was creating an environment that everyone could partake in and like that communal shared relevancy. And that ultimately, I feel like it helps you get your foot in the door, leading for more interactions and then deeper conversations later. Since it's kind of like what you were saying earlier, that it's almost what we prioritize the chapter is like building those genuine connections. Um, and then it's like people join for people, and those genuine connections are really a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, getting, like you said, like kind of opening the door is just huge. When we're talking about, sorry, I'm putting on my band director hat for a minute, and like I have I'm very passionate about like leadership and student leadership and stuff, and so I talked to my kids a couple years ago about like how to actually meet people and how to talk to people, and we talked about creating 3D relationships. So you know that they're in band and you know like their name. That's two things. But now is what's the third thing that we can talk about that's not relevant to any of those things? And for you guys at your event, it's hey, we like to have fun and we like pizza. Let's talk about some other stuff too. Um, yeah. So what is SOA? You've mentioned that a couple of times, but I might have missed what it actually is.
Yeah, so it's like an open like market. So it's like a ton of like tents and like
Mm,
there is like a vintage like market down like underneath some of it. There's a bunch of like local artists like display art there. And then the reason we also like do this event is there's usually like live music. There's a little like stage in like the center of it where different artists perform depending on like the weekend that you go.
very cool. So it's like a venue sort of.
Sort of like it's all like there's no real like distinction between like it and the city. It's kind of like there's like a little square, like a large square, and then lots of like tents surrounding it. And it's also like all the buildings surrounding it are also pretty cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Um, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that there's definitely a lot to learn from you guys. Like I feel like I wish I could go back and be an active member and share this with my chapter. I'm gonna make them watch it. I'm gonna send them the link to this video and say, hey guys, check this out. There's some cool stuff that's going on. Good.
We'll say as someone who went down the cop slide, it was worth it. Just probably top five slides I've been on in a playground.
Top five slides.
Top five.
All right.
To be fair, I have not been on the slide before this one in like probably 10 plus years, but like,
But those other four slides obviously left a big impact.
very much so, very much so.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Uh, anything else on you guys' brains I am happy to sit here as long as you guys would like to. Great. All right. Um, seeing none, I've been writing down in my journal just some things that you guys have been saying because I want to make sure I'm remembering these and sharing these. As I travel and be like, I learned this from Theta Beta and I want to share it with you guys. What I really appreciate is you guys's your chapter's ability to be patient when seeking alignment. I think that's huge in today's world. We of course we want to move so fast and just get things done, but taking the time to actually define what does it mean to be outstanding? What does somebody who's bid worthy look like? I think it's so important and something that all chapters can benefit from is patience. Um, Again, I love what you just said about creating moments of shared relevancy, something that anybody can participate in, because you never know like where your next outstanding band member might come from. They might not be your first chair all-state trumpet player. They might just be somebody else who's like been playing third clarinet all their life, but they love music and they love band and they love giving back. It's important to just find them wherever. Um, and having fun is just huge. Your recruitment events sound great, and I would love to come and be a part and just be in the fun with you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you so much for sharing part of your Sunday afternoon, early evening with me. Um, and I just really appreciate it a ton.
No, thank you for having us.
Of course. Do you guys have like a chapter Instagram or anything that you want to plug right now?
Hang on. Let me get the link for it. Uh, it is just KK Psi Theta Beta. My camera is not very good, but that is KKPSI THETA
Awesome.
KK Psi Theta Beta.
That's great. I'll put that as a link in the description. So, thank you guys so much. And thank you so much for people who are watching, whether it's live or later. Next VPSA chat will be in November, and I have some fun stuff planned for it, but I don't want to give it away in case it doesn't happen. But we shall see. Thank you guys so much, and have a great night. AES.